Welcome back to the Friday Night Sports Show here on Flow FM. We're taking a look at Great Flinders Netball now. The second round of the first week of finals, if that makes sense, has wrapped up, and Elizabeth Burns is on the line to tell us all about it. Hopefully what I just said makes sense, Elizabeth.
It made sense to me. I'm got my eyes firmly fixed on 5 o'clock on Grand Final day at this stage of the competition. So, yes, happy to get the second semi out the way and looking towards our prelim this weekend.
Excellent. I think I might have had it the wrong way round. I think I said the second round of the first week. I should have said the second week of the first round. Might have made more sense. But anyway, let's not dwell on that too much. Let's get into it. In our first week of the first round of finals, it was Lock beating Ayr United. And in this one, it was Elliston taking down Tumby Bay 42-40. Bit of an upset. Tumby Bay, they've been top all year, only lost the one game. Now they're going to have to go the hard way to get through to the grand final. So Elliston are straight through, and Tumby Bay have Lock waiting for them next week. And Lock are the only other team that beat them, well, the only team that beat them during the regular season. Now Elliston have knocked them off in finals. So talk us through this game, Tumby versus Elliston. It was a very, very close one. How did it all go down?
Well, it was surprisingly warm on the weekend, and I think that's a big leveller. The players that have got that extra fitness have a bit of an edge in the heat. Everybody was puffing, even the spectators. Drew a huge crowd, and it was exactly as we thought it was going to be. It was a goal-for-goal, physical, tough, absolute belting game. The spectators all were on the edges of their seats. It was, it really came down to the wire. Tumby Bay were up 12-10 at the end of the first quarter, but then by halftime Elliston had them 20 goals apiece, and so that really had people wondering which way the game would go. There were some great matchups in this game. I just need to have a few special mentions. Therese Laurie for Tumby Bay played in wing attack and centre. The way she moved that ball through the midcourt, her control, her feeding to the goalie, she just played an absolutely magnificent game. Young Claire Daniel from Elliston was with her for the first half of the game, and then they switched Tegan Hull in, and it really made for some interesting work. Like, quite often the ball takes a bit of time in a really tight game to move through the midcourt, and it was just whipping from one end to the other. So, some shout-outs there. Interestingly, Summer Cave, who's tall timber and goalkeeper for Tumby Bay, actually came up against an equally tall goal shooter in Emma Willis, who they haven't actually played against each other all year. Emma plays for the Eastern Eyre Netball Association and has qualified for Great Flinders this year. And that was just an absolute cracking matchup. They, height and rebounds and all the way, around the court and around the ring, they really had to work hard against each other, and that was a great match to watch. And up the other end, young Maisie Curtis in goal attack. She had to do a lot of hard work against Emerson O'Brien in goal defence for Elliston, and really there weren't any weak links on either team. So, the entire game was just people holding their breath and sighing in relief when the ball sank through the ring, and three-quarter time, Tumby Bay were down 29-33, and Elliston just managed to keep their nose ahead to take the game 42-40.
All right, well, it sounds like that was probably the match of the season so far, without a doubt, and if they end up squaring off in the grand final, it will probably be a very similar sort of a battle, but we've got one more game to get through before then, and it may not be Tumby Bay getting through because they're taking on Lock, who are in with every chance. Like I said, Lock, the only team to beat Tumby Bay throughout the regular season. They beat them by 5 goals back in round 13. So how do you see this one going? Do you think Lock can get over them again?
I didn't get to see that game, and I really wish that I had. I hear that it was just a great game. Both teams play a lot of body-on-body netball, so quite a physical game. Certainly keeps the umpires on their toes, that's for sure. Lock have got a lot of experience. They've got a slightly older team than Tumby Bay. Tumby Bay's got a lot of young players in their team that are coming up through the ranks, which gives them a bit of speed and agility, but those level heads and that finals experience that those Lock players have, I'm expecting it to be a very similar low-scoring game to last time they met, and I can't imagine that the scoreline would blow out by very much at all. So I'm looking forward to, particularly Jasmine Pearce and Whitney Wright, who played an absolute zinger of a game in the first semi. Be very interested interesting to see how they come up against Ilkestone and Maisie Curtis. And yeah, there's some great matchups all the way down. So looking forward to seeing this game. And yes, I'll be the reserve umpire and holding my breath that I don't have to pick up the whistle because, yeah, it'll be a full-on game, I suspect.
Yes, I don't think anyone would want the responsibility of umpiring a big prelim. I hope the umpires love what they do because it's a very tough job and we're very grateful for them for doing it. But yes, it would be very stressful out there, and I hope for your sake you don't get the call up, but it's good to know that you'll be on standby and obviously without bias as you're repping the whole association. We better leave things there, Elizabeth, but enjoy the game this weekend, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing how it goes and getting a big preview of a massive grand final next week.
Ditto, and yes, I look forward to filling you in when we catch up.
And we move straight over to Eastern Eyre Netball now, and Kristy Turnbull's on the line. And Kristy, it was a huge preliminary final on the weekend, and now you are setting up as we speak for tomorrow's massive grand final.
Yeah, sure are, Dan. Down here at Arno Bay, we're hoping the wind that we've had the last few days might drop out, but yeah, getting ready, gearing up, ready to host a massive day tomorrow with our Eastern Eyre Grand Final here.
It is going to be massive, and it's going to be Central Eyre United heading to Arno Bay. Eastern Rangers will not be going. They lost by 9 goals in the prelim on the weekend. So talk us through this game. It was Central Eyre United 52, Eastern Rangers 43.
Yeah, look, it was a great game, Dan. Storm and Rangers have had great hit-outs all year, and Rangers did have probably a slight upper hand coming into this game, knowing that they'd beat them in some close games throughout the minor round. But this game was no different. It was really close for probably 3/4 of the game, and then Storm just come out, stamped their authority on the game and put an end to Rangers. They were looking at their 11th consecutive grand final appearance, and Storm made sure that didn't happen for the Rangers girls this year.
Wow, going for 11 in a row. No wonder they were able to make such a charge up the ladder in the second half of the season. It was probably more of a case of that being the true Eastern Rangers side rather than the side that maybe struggled a little bit in the first 5 or 6 weeks.
Yeah, I think so. I think, all those changes at the beginning of the year just unsettled that Rangers team a little bit.
Yeah, they certainly got themselves in the conversation as maybe being the premier after we thought it was a 2-horse race pretty much for most of the year, but the Rangers made a really good push. But yeah, at the end of the day, Kimba and Central Eyre were the 2 teams on top of the ladder all year, and they're the 2 teams that are going to be playing off at Arno Bay tomorrow at 3 o'clock for Premiership glory. So talk us through this game. How do you see it all going down? Is everyone available from the sort of best 7 or 8 players on each team?
Yeah, look, both teams come in at full strength. Kimba took the easy road in, so they come in after a week off. Their performance after their weeks off haven't been fabulous throughout the season, Kimba. Storm got pipped last year in the grand final, coming away bridesmaids. They won't want a repeat of that. They'll really want to take it up to Kimba. They know they can get Kimba. They've done it a couple of times this year. Kimba had that 2-goal win in the semi over Storm, another cracking game, and I expect that tomorrow's game will be no different. We'll have some really key matchups across the court. Storm will have a young gun Rani Tomney in goals, who's quite tall, but she'll be matched up with Kimba's Maddie Maitland, and the height there is fairly similar. We'll have finals veteran Ellen Zabel up the other end in Kimba's goals, and she's most likely going to be matched up against our Anzac medalist Abby Bruce from Storm. Then we've got association runner-up Geordie McCullum. She'll be vital in Kimba's. She usually runs on the wing defence area. She can read the play beautifully. She picks up crucial turnovers, and she'll be really, really vital in Kimba's performance. But on the flip side, Storm have got the steady hands of Alice Little and Melissa Skinner. They're feeding into their goalies is beautiful. So Storm's got youth probably on their side. They've also got young Rebecca Sampson, Regan O'Brien and Zoe Phelps, so some fairly young guns. But Kimber's on the flip side, they've got experience in Saran Shippard, Shiley Harris and CJ Kemp as well. So some big names in both sides there. It's going to be a cracking game here at Arno Bay for our A-grade grand final tomorrow. And I expect that it's going to be close, and I don't even know if I could pick a winner, but I know you like me to.
We don't allow fence sitting on this show. It's one of the rules of the show.
But I think, look, I don't know which way it's going to go. I think Storm will really be wanting their first A-grade flag since they've come into the Eastern Eyre Association, and they're going to really, really make Kimba work hard for it. I expect it to be a 1 or 2 goal win. I'm torn. I'm really torn, but I think that the experience of Kimba are probably going to be what get them over the line in a very tight game tomorrow.
They've played 4 times this year. Back in round 2 was the first meeting. Kimba by 18. Then it was Central Eyre by 11. Then Central Eyre by 26. And then Kimba by just 2 in the first week of finals. So probably can't read too much into those regular season results. It's going to be a close game. I think that's probably the only thing we know for sure. Yeah. Quickly, before we wrap up, Junior Association best and fairest results were in over the weekend, were they?
So last Saturday night after our preliminary final up at Kimba, we celebrated our Junior Association best and fairest. I'll just do a quick shout out to them. In our D grade, we had Macy Hartwood from Ports as best and fairest and runner-up Billy Richardson from Eastern Rangers. In our E grade competition, Sophie Little from Storm was our best and fairest and Mercedes Larwood from Kimba was runner-up. And in our youngest girls, E2, best and fairest, Harlow Seal from Kimba and runner-up Bridget Tahini from Eastern Rangers. So that was another really tight medal count there with our junior netball, and it just goes to show the calibre of players we've got coming through over the next few years in our competition. So congratulations to those girls on their fabulous season.
Massive grand final tomorrow at Arno Bay between Kimba Districts and Central Eyre United. Kristy, enjoy the netball. Can't wait to see how it all shapes out, and I'm looking forward to getting a review of it next week.
Yeah, me too, Dan. I shall talk to you then.